The last time Mrs. Borden was seen alive was around 9 o'clock a.m. by her infamous stepdaughter Lizzie Borden and the maid Bridget. At the time of Mrs. Borden's murder, Lizzie's sister Emma was out of town, and Mr. Borden and Mrs. Borden's uncle John were out in Fall River. Lizzie said she was downstairs ironing handkerchiefs. Mrs. Borden was killed in the room where her uncle John had slept the night prior. This room has become one of the most highly requested rooms for overnight stays at the historic Lizzie Borden Axe Murder House and Museum, the John Morse Room, also known as the Murder Room. There were no signs of struggle as no defense wounds were found. Isn't that peculiar? The evidence isn't clear as to whether Mrs. Borden was facing her attacker and didn't fight back, or wasn't able to fight back, or if she was standing or kneeling. But what we do know is where the wounds were located. One was on the left side of her head, right above the ear. One was between her shoulder blades that was 4 inches deep. 17 more were all across the back of her head and neck. That leaves a total of 19 blows she sustained. Eventually, she was found laying face down in a pool of her own coagulated blood. Between the blood and the stomach contents of both victims, we can conclude her time of death to be around 9:30 a.m., an entire hour and a half before Mr. Borden's murder. In the photo on the wall in the dining room where the autopsy was done, you can see her laying flat on her stomach, and you can see the pool of blood around her head. And in the mirror, you can see the camera that was used to take these photos. Did you know the Borden crime scene photos were the first ever crime scene photos taken in the United States? How's that for a morbid fun fact?